Please, for the love of God, do not repeat the mistakes I'm about to share in this video. The endless pursuit of women, money, career success, titles. This left me feeling extremely empty. The things that we choose to believe in our mind end up becoming true in reality. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be frustrated. So the way the comfort zone works is it's like this bubble, and the more you stay inside of it, the more it closes in on you until you just can't move at all, and everything is outside of your comfort zone. Don't go into a relationship thinking you can change somebody. So you need to be careful and wait until marriage. And the reason why I say this is because sex can blind you. You know, they say that sometimes we just need to learn things the hard way, but that's not going to stop me from making this video, sharing some of the bigger mistakes in all aspects of life that I've made with you guys, with the hope that if there's even a single person out there that I can help, it will have been a success. So one of my big fears when making these videos is I'm just really not the best speaker. So today I've written down just a couple bullet points of the things that I want to mention on my laptop here so I don't get too distracted. But the first big mistake I want to talk about is not believing in God. And regardless of whether or not you're religious, one thing that I've found in my life is you've got to believe in something that's bigger than yourself. You know, you've got to rely on something that's outside of your own strength. Briefly, I do believe that I was created for a purpose. I do believe that I'm here for a reason, that I was created uniquely and individually. You know, one thing I heard a while ago, one of the aspects of what makes a person happy is truly believing in something. And I found that my connection with God and my spirituality has been able to carry me much farther than I could on my own. And it's led to a lot of different benefits. Anything is possible. If God is with me, who can stand against me? I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And regardless of your view on God, regardless of your view on religion, that is a very powerful belief to carry about you. It gives you this confidence without arrogance to go forth into this world and accomplish great things. And when I was living outside of my faith, when I was in high school, in college, and after college until I found God again, I felt very lonely. I also found it extremely difficult to forgive others. I had no compassion. I had no empathy for what people were going through. I was just a walking angry person, you know? Even if you met me, like, you probably wouldn't think I was an angry person, but I was carrying around a lot of trauma, a lot of burdens on my shoulders. And it was only by coming to know my Father in heaven and how He has created me so uniquely and individually and forgiven me for all of the mistakes that I've made that I could get a glimpse into how, okay, you know, God has accepted me for who I am. Wow, I need to go out there and accept others for who they are. And that this same sort of forgiveness that I was given, I was able to give it to others as well. And it freed me from a lot of burdens that I was carrying. And perhaps the biggest reason for why you should have something to believe in and why I would encourage you to have a relationship with God is that nothing in this world will ever satisfy your soul. A lot of us are living in this world where the grass is always greener on the other side. Like, oh, once I get that dream job, once I start making more money, once I have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, once I get married or once I have kids, then I'll finally be happy. And this is a lie that we're led to believe as part of our culture and consuming and shiny object syndrome and always moving on to the next thing, thinking that it will fill this hole in our heart when nothing can fill that hole except a relationship with Jesus Christ. And I think the more materialistic success you have, the more you realize this. And you see this all over the place with people that are ultra successful, whether they're famous, they're business people, they make a lot of money, whatever. The more success you achieve, the more you realize that it's not going to satisfy you truly. You know, it'll make you happy. It'll give you this temporary pleasure for a little bit. But at the end of the day, your body will adapt to this newfound life that you've created for yourself. And it's only by believing in something greater than yourself that you can have some glimpse into peace and satisfaction. And why do I mention this? It's because the endless pursuit of women, money, career success, titles, all even working out in the gym to become a god, to achieve a godlike figure. This left me feeling extremely empty inside. All right, the next couple items have to do with mindset. The first one being allowing others to tell you who you are or who you should be. Now, in American culture, we have this individualistic mindset where you are your own person, you become your own person. It's not like this throughout the rest of the world. In some cultures it is, but let's say Indian culture, perhaps Japanese culture, it is different in the sense that they think about themselves a lot less and they don't wander too far from the tribe. But I live in America, I'm American, and I do have an individualistic mindset. And I do think that allowing others to tell you who you are or who you should be is very dangerous, because I do think that we're all given an idea about the way we want our lives to go. And perhaps this idea is influenced by the people around us, influenced by our culture and that sort of thing. But not living truly and authentically to yourself will rip you apart on the inside and will leave you unsatisfied, in my opinion. Why? I'm not a robot. I don't want to go do the things that other people tell me I have to do. I want to do what Andrew wants to do. I know that sounds selfish, but it is what will lead to a more fulfilling life, regardless of what anyone else might think about it. All right, the next mistake is tuning into your self-limiting beliefs. So what do I mean by this? I mean choosing to believe the lies, whether it's conscious or subconscious. And what that means is whether you're thinking about it or you're not actively thinking about it, but you believe the lies anyway. And a lot of us, in fact, everyone likely carries these lies about like, oh, I can't do that because I can't make a YouTube video because I don't know how to speak, or I can't lose the weight. My entire family is overweight. It's just in my genetics. I'm not capable of it. These are self-limiting beliefs and these are lies. And if we tune into them, we actually create a reality around this lie, and we're never able to break free. The things that we choose to believe in our mind end up becoming true in reality. So you need to check yourself. I want you to pause this video and think about your life. Think about, what am I choosing to believe that's actually harmful? Is there anything? I really don't want you to believe lies about who you are, who you could be, whether somebody told them to you or whether you just chose to believe them yourself. Maybe you failed one time at something and you just chose to believe, oh, I could never do that again, or oh, I'm just bad at that. And I would really encourage you to rethink about that. Everyone is bad at things the first time they try, and we all fail tons, but that doesn't mean you're not capable. So I want you to expand your mind. I want you to really believe in yourself. All right, the next one is really not allowing myself to process negative emotions. Now, this one is huge. For many years in my life, I was just walking around pretending I was happy, and I was burying every negative emotion, and it's very harmful, and it does add up over time, and you kind of have this fakeness about you, and it's like all the traumas just gets buried until it eventually blows up in your face. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to have conversations with people and say like, hey man, I really don't think you handled that the best way. I don't like how you treated me in this way. That will actually lead to growth. That will actually lead to healing. And when you acknowledge to yourself that, man, I'm just not really feeling that happy right now. I'm kind of angry. I'm kind of upset. It allows you to grieve. It allows you to process these negative emotions so that you can actually get through it, and you stop carrying all this baggage. You stop carrying all these chains, and you just walk around as like a more free and happy person overall, because you're actually allowing yourself, you're giving yourself the space to process these negative emotions. Okay, next section, I want to talk about career briefly. So one thing, mistake that I made over and over again, I continue to make it, but at least now I'm aware of it, is staying in your comfort zone. Now we all know that this is bad, but I guarantee you, if you were to take a step back and think about it, and maybe it's not career, by the way, maybe you're in school and you don't have a job yet, and But I would challenge you to think that there are still ways that you're staying in your comfort zone that are negatively impacting you. I want you to take a step of faith out of your comfort zone. So the way the comfort zone works is it's like this bubble, and the more you stay inside of it, the more it closes in on you until you just can't move at all, and everything is outside of your comfort zone, even leaving the house. So take little steps to push yourself outside of your comfort zone, and that's gonna give you a glimpse into what is actually possible. And stepping out of your comfort zone and winning is one of the most satisfying feelings in this world. Thinking like, oh, I don't know if this is gonna work, but let me just put my foot out there, and you actually succeed. You actually win, whatever it is. Maybe you have social anxiety, and you kind of take a step and do this group hangout, and you actually have all this fun. Like, you're afraid at first, you're afraid to open up, talk about yourself, or really just see other people. I don't know how bad it might be for you, but then you go and you're a little bit afraid at first, and then you hang out and you chat and you do something fun, and you're like, man, I had a great time, and you go back. Your comfort zone just got expanded. Now you can do this again. Now you can do it again. Now you can do it again. And that leads to a more fulfilling life. So bringing this back to career, this is super important for a career so that you can advance what you're doing. You don't have to stay at the bottom. You can push yourself to do certain things, and that's gonna lead you to more job opportunities. It's gonna lead you to getting better experience, to having better opportunities, and also making more money. All right, so one more thing I want to talk about for a career, and something is super important, and I'm calling it not listening to your inner child. That's what I wrote down. And let me articulate this. When I was a kid, I picked up my family's camera. I gathered my friends, and we made little home movies, right? And this was super fun for me. They were stupid movies. I don't even remember everything that they were about. My memory is not so good, but I had this inner child love, and I thought one day, I was like, I'm gonna be a movie director. I love movies. I love building and creating and directing and all this stuff. And I remember in middle school one time, we had this event where we needed to basically tell everyone what it is we were going to do when we grew up, and we were supposed to make these big posters and talk about it and that sort of thing. And I just told everyone, I'm going to be a movie director, and I had this childlike belief in myself. By childlike belief, I mean kind of this belief that anything is possible. You're not succumbed to the fears of this world yet. You don't know the realities and the harshness of real life. So you have this childlike faith in yourself that anything is possible. And the way this plays into a career that I want you to think about is like, don't pick a career just because your parents tell you have to do that thing. And sure, listen to your parents. Definitely listen to your parents. Maybe they know certain things that you don't. But when it comes to living a fulfilling life, do the things that you want to do. If you want to go be a movie star, go be a movie star. If you want to be a race car driver, go be a race car driver. How happy would you be if you actually followed this childlike dream that you have? So that's why I'm listing this in career. I think it's really important that you follow the dreams that you have in your heart. And maybe you don't have any dreams at all, and that's okay. Maybe they haven't come yet. But what I would challenge you to think, and I guess this is really applicable more outside of just career, is like, have this childlike faith and belief in yourself. Okay, now I want to talk about working out, because working out is a big part of my life. It has historically been a big part of my life. And what I want to mention here is you don't need to prove yourself. For a long time, I was living in this world where it's like, oh, okay, if I could get jacked and build all this muscle, I would be different than everyone. And then people would love me more. They would accept me more. They would think I'm like cooler and all this stuff. And I really just didn't have the best intentions. Why am I working out? Is it so I can put myself above other people? Is it so that I can prove my worth to people? All that stuff is nonsense. Make sure your whys are straight on why you're doing something. And you don't have anything to prove. People are going to love you for exactly who you are. People already love you for exactly who you are. You don't need to build muscle. You don't need to become this Olympic runner in order to be accepted, in order to be cool. You are already cool. And in the fitness community, this is so prevalent. We see a lot of problems with body dysmorphia, with eating disorders and all this stuff. People trying to do these things because they think they'll stand out, or they think that people will finally notice them. And this comes from a place of insecurity. It comes from a place of lack. And I want to challenge you to think in abundance. People already love you. People already enjoy your presence. So work out because you actually want to take care of your body. You actually want to live a long time. You actually want to be strong and do the best job that you can when it comes to stewarding the body that you have been given. Don't work out for other people. And closely related to this, don't build your identity on your physical appearance either. You know, it's great if you can do amazing things, but don't tie your worth to the way that you look. Don't tie your worth to what you can do with your hands. If you're an artist, don't tie your value to your appearance or the things that you can do. Really, your value comes from being a child of God, being created for a reason, and being unique among all the people in the earth. And you are so dearly loved by God, and that really is your identity. At the end of the day, that is your value. You don't need to prove your value. It's already there. All right, the last thing I want to talk about is dating. And I know I'm glossing over a lot of different topics, but I just wanted to kind of sit down with you and make this high-level overview video of these thought processes. These things that I've done are mistakes that I've made, and I really don't want you to make those same mistakes. So with that being said, when it comes to dating, don't settle. God has a plan. There are billions of people in the world, and there's not just one person for you. You know, if you don't feel happy in a relationship that you're just starting, let's say you're going on dates with this person, don't keep going on dates with this person just because you can't find somebody better, or just because you want to have somebody by your side. You know, you need to be a whole person. Two half people don't make a whole. They actually just make hell. And that's what I heard, and I think it's true. So don't settle. You know, it's okay to date. It's okay to go on these dates with people and figure out, okay, what are the qualities I actually want in a partner? That's something super important. You do need to figure that out. But if you feel like things are going the wrong way, it's probably because they are. And, you know, don't go into a relationship thinking you can change somebody. You need to choose someone and love them for who they are. You know, I think it's so common in today's society. I've fallen into this trap. I know a lot of people that have fallen into this trap where they start dating someone and they try to change them. You know, just save yourself the trouble. Just go find somebody that is the person you want them to be already. You know, you don't need to change people. So don't settle. All right, now let's talk about sex for a second. So there's a reason why God says, I want you to have sex within the confines of marriage. And just because you want to have sex, you know, that's a beautiful thing. Desire is a beautiful thing. This is God's wonderful creation, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you need to be careful around sex. Sex is like fire. You know, you touch it, it can burn you. But if you also stand around it, it can warm you up. And you know, if it reaches outside of the fire pit, it can burn the whole forest down. So you need to be careful and wait until marriage. And the reason why I say this is because sex can blind you. You know, if you start having sex with someone, it can really blind you into wanting to stay with that person, you know, and not seeing the red flags and not seeing the reasons why maybe this person isn't the one for you. So my recommendation is to make good decisions clearly and date someone with the intention of marrying them, and after marriage, then you have sex, right? Enjoy it. And it should be enjoyed within the confines of marriage, but be very careful, because this can lead to a lot of heartbreak and a lot of emotions that you really just don't need to go through if you would just follow God's plan from the beginning. All right, so that was everything I wanted to talk about in this video. So I really appreciate you for watching, and I don't know exactly where I'm going to take this YouTube channel. Right now, I'm kind of just stepping out in faith. I don't necessarily know all the things I want to talk about. A lot of people say like, oh, what is your niche? I don't really know. I just want to talk about what I feel passionate about in my heart. And where I feel like that's kind of leading me to is just kind of sitting down, flipping on the camera, and just talking to you and having a one-on-one conversation. Like you're sitting here and just having a chat about life, about the deep feelings that's in my heart and things I want to share with you. So I hope this provided some value, and if it did, drop a like, and I'll catch you in the next one.